Are you looking for the Santa Claus Rally? So are we. That's coming up next on 3 Minutes on Markets and Money. Here it is, the week before Christmas, and all through the house, everybody's looking for the Santa Claus Rally and not seeing a sign of it anywhere at the moment, with markets ready to open lower this morning, well below the 50-day moving average. Stocks look to open down about 1% at the open. This weekend, of course, the Build Back Better plan was shot down by Joe Manchin, Goldman Sachs, because of that extraction of liquidity from the markets and the economy next year, reducing economic growth estimates by about 0.5% across the board. That also suggests more pressure on profit margins, particularly with high rates of inflation going into next year as well. So that's putting some pressure on stocks this morning, but be a little cautious about the headlines this morning. This is really just a very holiday shortened week. We're going to see light trading all week long, liquidity very light in the market. We've seen markets really kind of jumping all over the place over the last couple of days. After this rally that we saw from the November lows, we are getting a little bit of a correction here. Again, already people going, when's the selling going to stop? It's only been a couple of days of a sell-off here after this rally, but we are going to be touching on important support here back to those November lows. So we've got to hold on to that. Now, Friday, stocks did sell off touching the 50-day moving average, but we do need to see a bit of a support rally over the course of the next couple of days if we are going to indeed see that traditional Santa Claus rally come into play. Now, while people are kind of looking for that Santa Claus rally here pre-Christmas, technically, we see a lot of that potential push in the last 5 days of the year. That's the week after Christmas. So while we could very well see some sloppy trading this week, markets are starting to head back towards oversold levels. That will potentially set markets up here for that counter trend rally into the end of the year. Now, once we get into January, typically have those first 5 days of the year typically also tend to be more bullishly biased because fund managers are positioning for the new year. So that 10-day period, the last 5 days of December, first 5 days of January, tend to be typically strong for stocks. But doesn't mean it has to happen, right? We've got some very different pressures on markets currently. We do have the Fed talking about hiking interest rates faster than expected, tapering their balance sheet faster than expected. Now we've extracted liquidity with the BBB plan getting put to bed. That's going to take more liquidity out of the economy. And certainly with higher inflationary pressures short term, that's going to potentially work on consumption and consumer spending. That's going to potentially weaken economic growth. So there are certainly some concerns here for stocks in the short term, but volume over the course of this week is going to be excruciatingly light. Liquidity remains very thin, and we're going to see a lot of rotation in the markets from both the growth sectors of technology and other areas into those value sectors. We saw this on Friday, value rotating back into growth. Money's just kind of moving everywhere very quickly in the markets. So be careful of making any short-term decisions based on one-day actions in this market, because you're likely going to get whipsawed fairly quickly. So really kind of focus on what your goal is between now and the end of the year. Focus on your asset allocation. Focus on where you're taking risk. And look, if markets begin to break these lows back from November, there's certainly lower levels around 4,400 on the S&P. That gets you back down to 2 standard deviations below the 50-day moving average. That is certainly a possibility. So make sure and have your stops in place as well to protect capital as we move into the year end. That's 3 Minutes on Markets and Money. I'm your host, Lance Roberts. See you tomorrow.